No fancy editing, just straight value. And speaking of value, if you want this little doc here, you got it on the very first link of the description and the very first link of the comment section. Okay, so before we go over their entire funnel, I want to mention that they are not using pop-ups on their website, which I found to be very interesting since literally all their competitors are using pop-ups. And I also, before we go over the marketing, the entire marketing thing, I want to talk about really the main reason why this brand is becoming very popular, and it's simply because of a word called authority. They essentially bought authority, and one of the coolest things about this brand is that they literally have like quote unquote official scientists, let's put it that way, and official claims and all sorts of statistics related to their product to prove to people that they're actually good and that they are better than the competition. Okay. And this to me is amazing. And, getting people like David Beckham, this tennis player, this guy, I don't know who he is, but getting people like this into your brand not only like attracts different markets to your product, but it elevates the authority even more. So, for example, I think with the scientist stuff alone, all of these guys alone, I think you can have super high authority. But now imagine if you got like David Beckham, and having Inter Miami, right? I think that's the word. Inter Miami on your page, like it feels like an official thing, right? And people are gonna want to buy. And the next thing I want to talk about here is they are framing themselves as these premium brands. So if you're framing yourself as a premium brand, you also need to have premium price. And I absolutely love this. They are essentially telling themselves, yes, we are expensive, but again, we are good. Let us prove you that. And one of the things I also really like about this brand, let me show you. And they actually have an email just about this, which I found very interesting. So they are literally comparing themselves to their biggest competitor, AG1. They are not mentioning AG1 here, but trust me. Like on the email, for example, that I'm going to show you, they mention AG1, and many people know about this. And the other thing, and I always like to leave the best for last, is they chose the color red because it's different. You know what I mean? They chose the color red simply because it's different. If they wanted to, they could still do the green color. If they wanted to, they could do it. But they chose red because it's different. It's the same thing as grunts. Grunts enter the market with a different mechanism of the product. Instead of being, a powder, it's a gummy, right? And here, they change the color. They even have an entire ad. It's a really good ad. Just talking about, being different is better. It's not, they don't actually say that, but they're essentially telling you that in a subliminal way, okay? Like, we're different, we're better, you know what I mean? It's really, really good. And yeah, the marketing behind this, specifically when it comes to ads, I think when it comes to emails, they could do a better job, even though I still like it. It's really, really good. So let's begin with the ads. Let's begin with our funnel. With all of that out of the way, let's begin with the funnel. And I want to start talking about the ads. So first thing is, they got 1,200 meta ads live, but this was yesterday. But today they have 1,300. So it seems like they're putting in the work. And yeah, I mean, they're scaling very, very hard. The other thing I want to talk about here, they're mainly running two different types of ads. Video ads, like between 1 minute and 1 minute 30 seconds, and they are also running static ads, not natives, static ads, creative static ads. So every single video ad here goes directly to the product page, but some of the static ads go directly to, for example, this one, to an advertorial, what I like to call a branded advertorial. I'm not a big fan of branded advertorials, but for brands like this, that have insane authority, it does work. I have to admit, okay? So this is an advertorial. and this is their main page. You can clearly see the difference here. And basically, an advertorial is a pre-sale page. It's essentially warming up the customer into buying, to getting ready to buy the product. Okay, very, very important. And this usually talks about their benefits, talks about the things they have in their drink. And like I said before, they can go so deep here because they actually have a good product, because they have like even here 42 years at NASA. They have the authority, you know what I mean? And their product is actually good. I don't drink any supplements. I don't take any supplements. I'm more of a natural way kind of guy, if that makes sense. But they have the authority and they can leverage that insane, like so much. It's crazy. Okay, so that's what I want to talk about here. Let me show you another advertorial. Same thing, different. It's an advertorial essentially, but it's a different advertorial. You can see here, and it looks good. You know, it's they have the branding really like locked in, which I appreciate and I do like. And you know, people like this stuff. You know what I mean? People like the beautiful websites. Even though the most important thing is the copy and the angle you go with, which in this case is authority. Man, they did a really good job here. All right, so these are the ads. I'm not gonna talk much about it. And yeah, they're doing a phenomenal job. And realistically speaking, if the ads don't work, nothing will work. But again, same for email. If your emails don't work, you can't make profit. This is where you make the profit, all right? Or the real profit, I should say. All right, okay. Now let's talk a little bit about their main page and their product page. I kind of already mentioned this a little bit. You know, they got this super beautiful like theme going on. You have Inter Miami here. Let me actually just go. Yeah, this way is much better. We got Inter Miami here, you know, authority. Some really interesting infographics and simple infographics that I really like. You know, you got a tennis player here. You got more people too, I think. Yeah, you got a lot of more people here. There you go. So yeah, like, and one of the cool things, I think I already mentioned this today, but one of the cool things is like all of these, these brand partnering with different creators. We could call them creators or athletes, whatever. Like that's essentially touching different parts of the market, which is really, really good. A good example is with grunts, and I believe they do the same thing. Like they are targeting different markets, for example, by saying this is good for your teeth, this is good for your bones, this is good for your brain, this is good for your gut, you know what I mean? And they can target different pain points of different markets. Really, really good. So this is their main page, and this is their product page. Again, one of the things, I also want to mention this, if you want to do a one-time purchase, you need to click here. Look just how insane this is. You gotta click here and it's way more expensive. This is really good. Now, you gotta be very careful, especially if you're a big brand like this, because what some brands do is they do subscriptions so they can charge people automatically, and they don't, and most of the times, they don't tell their customers, yo, your subscription, you know, you are on subscription and your product is coming out. And some people just forget it, you know what I mean? And it keeps going. And yeah, you need to be very careful with that, because you can get in trouble by not telling your customers that you are in subscription, and you do that via email and SMS, and you literally have to do that. So yeah. Very important. Okay, now let's talk about their email side. Again, I only have their welcome flow, which it's 8 emails. Interesting choice of number. And some of their most recent campaigns. And I can clearly see that their most recent campaigns, in my opinion, are better than the welcome flow. And this basically tells me that their welcome flow is outdated. But still really good. You know, I think this is out of 10, like an 8. It's really, really good, okay? And yeah, I'm not going to talk about pop-ups because they don't have a pop-up, and I'm just very surprised that they don't have one. So let's go over the very first email. I'm not going to go like over everything. If you want to get this file, do it. You can check all the emails, you can check everything you want. But when it comes to the email, one of the things you need to be looking for is the copy. The copy is the most important thing, and the layouts and infographics. So copy, layout, infographics. Copy is the most important, layout structure is the next most important, and graphics, infographics is the next most important. You could say that the structure of the email is probably above copy, but if you don't have good copy, it's just not going to work. So keep in mind with all of that, and I want to mention this. So right here, IM8, AG1, they literally show you, right? So yeah, I mean, they got, I think this is, I think it's a good welcome flow for the type of brand the type of thing they're running with, and yeah, this NASA thing too, the NASA guy. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, bro, like, just imagine seeing a brand with a NASA scientist. Crazy. Even though I'm not a big fan of NASA, like, most people see NASA as this big authority thing, which technically it is, but it's insane. It's crazy. And then we have some email campaigns here. I mean, great infographics right here. I just wish this button was above the fold. I think it would be a lot better, in my personal opinion. And yeah, you can see all of this, and it just, yeah, it's good stuff. It's good stuff. So yeah, that's it for this video. Thank you very much for watching this entire thing. And if you're looking for help specifically for email, you are in the right place, because I just essentially pretty much study the best of the best, and I put a little bit of my own twist, and yeah, it always works. Most of the time, 90% of the time. So yeah, thank you for watching. I appreciate it, and wish you an amazing rest of the day. Thank you.